Okay, well, thank you guys so much for joining today's webinar. Today we're having Landon Peterson speak to us. He is the Director of Academic Advising. He's kind of over all of the advisors at Snow College, and he's going to talk to you why it's important to meet with your advisors, how to meet with your advisors, and all that super awesome stuff. So feel free to drop any questions you guys have in the chat. We'll try to get to those either during or after the webinar. We'd love to answer your guys' questions. So I'll turn the time over to Landon.
So Nate, before we get started, are these usually like interactive? I'm asking questions as I go, or am I just talking and people are listening?
That's
I
what we've
forgot
done
that.
in the past, but if you want to talk to people, that works too. But we've just
All
done,
right.
usually everybody leaves their mic off.
Sounds good. So welcome everybody. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are. My name's Landon. I'm the Director of Advising here at Snow College. And as you can imagine, like the American school system is maybe different than where you're from, and we get a lot more sort of latitude or choice when we take courses, and so having an advisor help you decide which courses to take and when to take them is very, very important. And so I wanted to kind of walk you through a couple of things today to help you get started. So Nate, will you show your screen? You volunteered because I don't have the student view.
Yes, let me do that. I gotta pull up that button. Can you see that?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yep.
So if you go to snow.edu and click on the little menu in the right and click on my.snow or Canvas or any of that stuff, and then yeah, click on that student thing up in the top right, it'll tell you who your advisor is if you already have one assigned for you. It'll also give you some other information about you and your account, like do I have a balance? What's my GPA? All of that good stuff. So you can see here, Nate is assigned to Barb. Barb's wonderful. You can you can spell Barb right from there. You can schedule an appointment with Barb right from there. So it's super handy and convenient. Um, thanks, Nate. That's perfect.
Sweet.
So let's imagine that I don't know who my advisor is. And so let me just show you. Oh, good grief. This is just going to be Nate laughing at Landon for some time. That's all right. Um, so if we start at the top line website here, um, this is where you're going to go to kind of get started. Um, for most students, they'll click on this button right here and they'll click on the advising website. We have lots of great resources on this website to help y'all with any questions or concerns that you might have. Everything from like what is required for my degree to resources on campus to videos on how to do things, as well as like, excuse me, scheduling an appointment with your advisor. So a couple of things here. You can always call our office manager. She's happy to help us help you get an appointment with your advisor, or you can scroll through and find the person that matches with whatever your major is. So we assign advisors to majors, and when you choose a major, then that's your person. So if you said my major is computer science and you don't know who your advisor is, you can just type computer science in right there and see Sean is my person. And then you can click this button down here that says schedule appointment to get some time to talk with Shauna. Same thing with like psychology or whatever major you might want. Um, if you haven't decided on your major, so there might be some of you that say, well, I'm not quite decided yet. I have some exploring to do. We have certain people like David that helps with undecided students, and that's totally fine. That's something that we help with all the time at Snow College. So if you're saying, hey, I don't know where I'm headed quite yet, great, we're happy to help. Um, so that's how you find your advisor and kind of who they are. All their contact information is on these cards. You can email them from here. You can call them on the phone. However you want to contact them is great. So does anybody have any questions about this page or the My Snow page that Nate showed off about finding your advisor or contacting them?
And don't forget, you guys can you can put stuff in the chat and we will be answering things in the chat. So sorry, I'm jumping in late. I'm sure you've covered all of this already.
No, you're good, Becky. I'm just happy to see you. I'm just glad you're here.
And so
All right.
even if your major is ESL, again, we have the ESL major there. You would see
Well,
Audrey. Oh,
it's not listed on her card, but Audrey is the person. I will go edit that today, so it'll be on there.
so if you aren't sure, you're probably going to work with Audrey and then she'll let you know details for that.
Yep. And she's awesome. She's super helpful. She's great. I almost never hear anything bad about Audrey. She's amazing. So hopefully you get her. She's awesome. So it sounds like we don't have many questions on that piece of it. So I guess we can kind of move on to the Badger Web scheduling part of this thing. So like I said, when we started, you do have some choices on like the things that you take in our school system, right? Like you're not just like on a single track where where you're told you take this and then you take this and then you take this and you take this. We give you some choices along the way. So talking with your advisor is very helpful to deciding how to make the best choices about what to take. So when you've done that and you're ready to sign up for courses, you can click on this guy right here and it'll take you back to the My Snow portal. And then if you click on Badger Web, this is kind of where you do all of your registration business along with other things that has to do with the college. So a couple of things to know. This list and this list kind of function the same way. So you can click on this guy or you can click on this link and they go to the same place. So sometimes I get in the habit of saying, click on the student tab, but if you click on this thing over here, totally fine. It does the same job. Don't worry about it. From there, if you click on registration, that's gonna push you over to the registration section of Badger Web. Gosh, I hope this thing didn't break on us. No, it's all good. Okay, so if you're a student, it won't bring you to this kind of middle step. So since I'm an advisor, I have to look up a student, and I'm going to grab our test student here. This is our mascot, Buster the Badger. He's the one that you see all over the website. He has angry orange eyes.
We're trying to make him a little more friendly, but you have to understand in the US, mascots show you how tough you are. And so at a university level, I know one school that their mascot is a donkey. So it's really hard to make a donkey look tough. At least a badger can be tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks, Becky. From here, you would just start to put in the topics of the courses that you want to see. So like, let's say I'm a business student and I want to search business. So you can say, okay, I want business. If you're not sure what you want from there, you can click search and it'll bring you a big list of courses. It says I have 46 options. You can kind of use this button to give you more options on a page. And you're maybe looking at this and going, man, this is a lot of information. Yes, I know. It can be kind of scary. That's why you have an advisor to help you. But if you were doing this on your own, this is how you do it. So if you say, okay, I want to just kind of get an idea. Am I interested in business? So this intro to business 1010, that's a good class to kind of understand that. You can click on this guy. How do I get this guy out of the way? I'm not a Zoom guy. I'm so sorry.
There should be a hide button on that same bar.
A high dock to the top. That'll
Yeah.
work. All right. So if you click on the course title right here and then go down to course description, that'll tell you all about the course and kind of what the course is about and anything you might need to know. If you needed to know any of the details about it, they're all right there. This is kind of a summary of what's on the big page, but you can see this class is offered Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 1:30 to 2:20. It's on our Ephraim campus in the business building, room 103. And so I think for me, hey, this is the one. This is Landon's ready for this one. So I'm going to click add right there. And you can see it kind of brought up some other things here. So we've got a little calendar view over here that it'll show us. It's at 1:30. Do I need to talk in military time? Again, I don't know what I'm doing. 13:30.
Up to you.
You can throw in the military lingo if you want. I can't communicate in 24-hour time clock. I can only communicate in 12. My brain will only handle 12. I don't have enough fingers and toes to do 24.
Very good. Well, maybe I'll try and do my best to talk in 24-hour time and see if we can do it. So yeah, this is 13:30 to 14:20. It's intro to business like we chose there. And you can see right here, the status says pending. So in order to submit that to register for this course, we just come down here, click submit, and we're done. So it's that simple, like as far as how do I register for a class? But maybe something else that we would want to consider is, what other things am I interested in for my major? What are other courses that are going to help me move down that path? So again, if I'm a business student, one of the things I know about business as I was taking business courses is I have to have a financial accounting class, this Accounting 2010. This one meets Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8:30 to 9:20. That'll work great. Put it on there, click submit, we're done. And you can just keep doing this until you get a full schedule. Now, this is just an example kind of what a business student might see or might do in a term. This is not me saying, hey, you should go register for this stuff right now, right? Like we're just kind of practicing. But
I was going to say, Landon, something that might be helpful is to show them like the outline of, if you're going to go major in business, here's an outline of classes.
Sure. Yeah, we could do that. And maybe if we wanted to, we could also kind of show them where their degree works plan lives as well. So they can kind of say, hey, here's like advisor's going to put plan in there. So yeah, that's just a really simple overview of how the course registration software works. You can see all my courses are on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I decided I really wanted a break on Tuesdays, Thursdays. So that's how you do that. I'm just going to drop these so somebody else doesn't get cranky at me later. But all right, so Becky said, let's take a look maybe at some of the, go back to the Advising Center page here. I kind of briefly.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is one of the biggest reasons we want you to meet with your advisor, is because your advisor kind of has these things memorized. They already know if you're going to go into fine arts or you're going to go into music, here are the core classes you have to take. And this is this, I was going to say pattern or system. We want to, we want you to take them in this order. But if you don't want to, and you're like, no, independence, I'm doing it on my own, this is a really good resource to come in and say, okay, I know I have to cross off these boxes to get my Associate of Science in Business. Then you can map out your own plan. But one of the benefits of our advisor is they will actually map out, if you take this semester, then in semester 2, you take this, like that is their job. They're there to help you plan the next 10 years of your life. maybe not that far, but we want to help you. There you go. We want to help you through.
Becky, did you talk about the hold that they have?
Ah, there it is.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And someone did say something in there about holds. So one thing that we do specifically because of international students, because the education system is different. It doesn't matter whether you are English speaking or not. Every country has their own education system. And so the first semester, we require that you meet with your advisor because we want that advisor to help you know, hey, to get into this chemistry class, you have to have this math exam, right? If you just go and try and add it, you're gonna be like, why can't I add it? I don't know what's going on. So the very first semester that you are here, we put a hold on that requires you to meet with your advisor. It is a good idea to meet as soon as possible, AKA starting now. They can get you into those classes. Once you've completed that first semester and you have done well, we lift that hold, and then from that point forward, you do what Landon is showing you. If you fail all of your classes, there's a couple of things we're going to have to talk about, but you'll still keep meeting with an advisor to make sure that we're checking in because we want you to be successful. We don't do this because we don't trust you. We do this because you don't know the American system. And we want you to know the United States educational system so that it makes it easier. We don't want you to take classes that aren't going to transfer, that aren't going to help you at the next institution. So our advisors are prepped specifically for that.
Yeah, and that's why we break them up by major, right? Is we want to have an expert in this area for business, for accounting, for education, whatever the case may be. So like Becky said, these sheets that are on our website, you can go find one here for pretty much any major that we offer, are there to kind of help guide you on that path. So it tells you, like, if you're a first year student, here are the courses that you probably want to consider taking your first term, and then your second term, and then your third term, and your fourth term. So this is all well and good, but one of the tools that we have to kind of help students stay in contact with an advisor and work on a plan together is called Degree Works, and it's right here in the My Snow portal. Again, let me grab. I missed a 6. There we go. So so it does a couple of things for us. It'll audit your progress on whatever your declared major is. So it'll say, what degree are you seeking? Great. Then we'll go in here and we'll kind of check off those things for you. So I already took this English course that I need. I already took this biology course that I need. I still need a math course. I still need another English course. I still need a fine arts course, and so on. So that's really helpful for you to be able to see what's still upcoming. And right here is a place where you can talk with your advisor about how we're going to sequence those courses, what order we're going to put the courses to help you be successful. So this right here is an example plan of like the Associative Science in Business that I put on our mascot Buster the Badgers account earlier today. So you can see here, like, we're planning to do English, math, accounting, economics, business, and then as we move further and further to the right, we have more and more stuff to help make you transfer ready for your next institution if you're planning to continue beyond a 2-year degree. So,
there we go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't hear you.
Something I wanted to point out is, as you look at these classes, Landon, if you can scroll back to the very beginning, you will see, like English, there is a statement on there that says minimum grade of C, right? We have some courses that have a grade requirement, meaning you cannot graduate if you earn lower than a C- in a math class. That means one of two things. One, you can take chemistry and get a D and still graduate. Okay, yay. You don't have to have only A's and B's, because I am not really good at math and science. So I was happy to get whatever grade I got as long as I could graduate. Okay, we only have a few classes that have a grade requirement. However, please know, yeah, you have to have a 2.0 overall GPA, but please know that most schools will not allow you to transfer credit for a class that you earned a D or an F in. So you may be like, yes, I graduated from Snow College, but I got an F in my microbiology class, or I got a D- in microbiology. Well, congrats, absolutely graduated from Snow College. But at the next university, it is highly likely that they will make you retake that class. Maybe not microbiology, but a life science class, right? That will not meet their requirement because of the grade. So we wish we could all be A's and B's in students, and some of us are like Nate and get 3.7 GPAs. And others of us are just grateful to get through the degree, right? So do well, but don't kill yourself trying to earn A's. Most of the time with most classes, a C is going to be just great and will transfer to the next institution. And then you, like Landon pointed out, you do have to watch, because if you have below a 2.0, you aren't going to be allowed to graduate.
Perfect. And the really nice thing about this tool is it's interactive. So let's say we took these classes one term and we did great on everything except for maybe we got a C- on English 1010. So we have to retake that. So your advisor can come in here and say, okay, we're going to move this one to summer and we're going to move this one to the next term. And it's just that easy to kind of move things around and help you adjust your plan. So it's customized to you. So it's really, really good and helpful tool. So
this is super cool, and I don't think I saw this when I was a student like last year, and I'm kind of jealous because I love planning my schedule, and this is just super easy because I did have to drop out of a nutrition class and I moved it to the next semester, but just having this here would have made my life so much easier.
sorry, Nate, we implemented it too late.
No.
And I think
That's all
so
right.
often, if you just, this is our biggest thing that we emphasize, is if you just ask questions, there are no dumb questions, there are no silly questions. This is completely new to you, and we know that. And so we want to give you the resources so that you don't have to go to an advisor every single time. If you can plot out your schedule like this for the next 4 semesters, that gives you the power that the second registration opens, you log in and you jump it in there and you get yourself registered, right? The more you can do for yourself, the better you will be at the next institution, because you will be comfortable managing things like this. And we talked about this with Nate. Canvas is very common, right? So if you learn how to work in the Canvas system, what your next institution very likely could be using Canvas, and now you're already comfortable. Degree Works is not uncommon. This is a common degree planning, information. So if you learn to use it here, then you'll know what to do at the next institution. So everything we give to you is so you have information so that you can take control and take charge of where you want to go.
Yeah, and that's kind of our philosophy as well. We really want to empower our students to do the best they can and ultimately like kind of not need us, right? Like we want to support you and give you the stuff that you need, but also teach you how to take care of yourself and do the things you want to do. The other really cool thing is we can pull this plan into like the fancy scheduler tool that we didn't talk about today. I could show it off if you
Don't
wanted us
scare
to.
people.
But it makes it like super quick and easy, but yeah.
It's
Anyway,
100% good to go and we're ready to like release it on them.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, yeah, I mean, yes, it is, but they moved to a different database, as you know.
yeah.
And so there's one little thing that needs to be adjusted. So anyway,
So
but
I think
I could show it off.
I'm like, you could show it. I think it's a lot of information. So I think, yeah, show us what you can do, and this will be new for even us.
Yeah, so if you go click on this link that says registration. So this goes to a different scheduler that is faster and easier, that will make conflict-free schedules for you without you having to think about all the complicated day and time stuff. So I'm kind of just clearing out old stuff here. But if you say, I want,
You're still on summer.
what did I was hoping I had a plan, but I apparently don't.
You don't have a plan.
Yeah, but Buster does.
Yes.
Buster
While
has one.
Landon's showing you this, I'm going to answer a question that was in the chat. Please understand that your schedule is not carved in cement. It's not set in stone. You can make changes up to a certain point. Okay. So if you get into a math class and it is super easy for you, you could possibly change to a higher level. Or if you get into, history of rock and roll and discover you hate rock and roll, you can change out of it. You can drop that class and move into another one. There is a deadline for those changes. Also, and part of the reason is we want you to be successful. And if you are coming into a class 2 weeks late, it's really hard to stay on top of your work plus catch up with the last 2 weeks. And it is not your teacher's job to give you everything from 2 weeks. You missed class. And so we want you to try and get your schedule sorted within that first 2 weeks so that you're not missing things and you're not behind.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, when I talk to students about being successful, the two things I say are go go to class and turn things in, right? Like it really is as simple as that. But if you miss 2 weeks, it can be hard to catch up. Um, so I just selected some courses here just to kind of give you all an idea of how this works. You can also add like a break time in here. So like, let's say I have work several days a week from 2 to 5. So I can add a break in there. Oh, it has to have a name. I forgot. Sorry about that. And then if you click generate, it will tell you, hey, here are all the schedules that you have available. There's over 1,000 of them. So then we might want to say, okay, like let's narrow some things down. Maybe I don't want online. Maybe I don't want virtual synchronous or
And as an
hybrid.
international student, you must be aware of how many online classes you are taking. So we will talk about that as we talk about immigration, but that's a good box to know you need to uncheck online.
So that narrowed me from over 1,000 to 200, right? And so then I can click in here and say, that's a possible schedule, or click on the left and right arrow keys and say, here are all the possible schedules for those courses.
And you'll
So
notice it's changing out teachers. So,
right.
yeah.
So maybe I want Matt Gowans for whatever reason, because Matt Gowans is my favorite person on the planet. I don't know. So that took me from 246 to 12. And so now that's kind of a manageable amount. You can kind of look through all of them and you say, I don't like that one. This is the one I like for me. So if I decide this is the one for me, send to shopping cart, register. Apparently some of these courses are full, so would be getting put on wait lists. Click continue and it'll register for you. Like you don't have to do any of that fancy figuring out the times and all that stuff. You just say, send it to my cart, click register, and you're done. So, except for this guy, because we just made a database change.
And if there's a prerequisite change, or I mean, if there's a prerequisite, so for example, you cannot just jump into like the jazz ensemble class, right? There are things that have auditions to them if you're in the performing arts, or if you're going to be in software engineering, you cannot just jump into the 3,000 level classes. They're going to have prerequisites. And so this schedule will help you create, I mean, again, so that you know what you have to take in order to take the next step in your platform.
Yeah, and if there's something that's absolutely required, it'll tell you. So like I didn't pick one, but let's say we get rid of this and we say, I want to be a biology major. I'm going to take bio 1610. And I add that to my schedule. And then I click generate. Now I have a little box here that says, or wait, hold on. Where does it should tell me? Yep. You've got a co-rec that you need to add. So then I add the co-rec and then click generate.
Landon, what is a co-rec?
Oh, glad you asked. Sometimes I forget who I'm talking to. A co-requisite is a class that you have to take with another class. They're kind of linked together, right? It's a class that goes with another class. So in this case,
yeah,
it's a biology class and a laboratory class that goes along with it.
So someone asked about deadlines to register. This goes along the same thing as what we were talking about, deadline to change your schedule, add and drop. It is typically within the first 2 weeks of the semester. There is a later deadline if you get into a class and say, you know, I am never going to be able to pass microbiology. I got to drop it. There's a couple of things you have to be aware of, but there are some later drop dates where you can drop the class later in the semester. We have to look at, for example, how many credits you have. We're going to talk about this when it comes down to rules to stay in status with your visa, but there's a certain number of credits you have. And so if dropping that class is going to drop you below the number of credits, if you drop it, we have to terminate you and you won't be allowed to stay studying. So that's the choice you're going to make. Snow College is good at, we put signs up, we put posters all over campus for drop dates, last day to pay your tuition, last day to sign up for classes, last day to drop a class. That will be on your Canvas notifications. That will be on the my.snow.edu dashboard. We put A-frames around campus, and we will usually send emails to students as well as a reminder. Don't forget, it's the last day to pay your tuition. So we try and give you as many reminders. I don't know, I'm sure maybe this was already talked about, but in the United States, one of the things we've emphasized is your privacy and your rights, and we take that very seriously. And so we will not do something we cannot do something without your permission, and we cannot make changes without your permission. But that also puts the importance on you for making sure that you are aware of those deadlines. We will send the reminders, but if you're not checking your email or logging into Canvas, you're not going to see them. And legally, once you arrive and start classes, all of our communication from our office and your teachers, everything from Snow College goes into your students.snow.edu email. Once you arrive, we will no longer email your Gmail or your AOL or your Yahoo or anything else. We legally are required to email you on my.snow.edu. So if you are, students.snow.edu. If you are not logging in to look at that email, you are not taking charge of your life. And we can only help you so much. So this is a great time for you and for your child, if we have parents on here, to learn how to be responsible, to manage schedules, to figure things out in a safe way, because we are here to support you. So as Landon was showing you all these things, we have amazing resources, but if you don't ask, we don't know how to help you. So the more we can get you to ask questions, to come in and check in with your advisors, to say, hey, I am really struggling in my math class. I just think I'm going to fail. Great. I bet we can get you some help. We have math labs on campus, right? We can look at tutoring. So there are some options, okay? But we cannot do anything without your help. Okay, let's see. We've had some questions in here. When can I check to see the journalism? Landon, do we have a journalism specific major?
So we have a communication major that's kind of like the first part of that. And we do have some newspaper production classes that are specifically geared towards journalism. So yes and no.
Yeah. So you
Which
would
is kind
work.
of hard.
Yeah.
Like
What you'll
the
do.
front part.
Yeah, you'll work with that advisor. And something to remember that we always emphasize is, remember, the first 2 years, you're taking those foundation classes. So whether you're studying music or medicine, everyone has to take a physical science class, right? So I may never ever use geology, but I have to take it, even if I'm going to be a music major, right? So journalism is one of those. We will give you the foundational classes. We have a newspaper in print. We have opportunities for you to work on that. And then you are going to transfer to the next institution once you graduate, and they are going to get into the details that you would need for that major. Okay. There was a question, and this is one that we expected. We had an enrollment deadline yesterday. The enrollment deposit was due yesterday. So if you have not paid that, you need to email one of us, not Landon. Don't email Landon. Email someone in the Center for Global Engagement. So Deanna, Noboy, Nate, me, and let us know what's going on. We can extend that enrollment deposit for a period of time, but something for you to understand or be aware of is we admit many more students than we have come. So as a school, we might admit 5,000 students for fall semester. How do we plan classes? Right? We can't fill classrooms with 5,000 students. This is our way to help show a couple of things. One, that you're serious about studying at Snow, okay? You can show the embassy, look, I have paid an enrollment deposit. I know this is where I'm going, okay? So that shows them you're serious about coming to the US and studying. And two, it also applies towards tuition. So it's like a prepayment of tuition. This is how we plan our numbers for orientation. So we can give an extension, but we need to know the details. Something that has also come up is there are some students who have not been able to get their interview until after school starts. We must defer you to the next semester. And we already talked about this with Landon, but if you arrive 2 weeks late, you will spend the entire semester digging out of the hole, right? The classes do not stop, and we cannot stream our classes for individual students. Many of them are in person only. We are no longer in COVID. We do have online classes, but we are not streaming every class, and that is not an option. If your interview is not until after the start date, we need to move you to the next available semester. This is not because we want to be mean. It is because over 16 years, I have seen too many times students that arrive and really struggle to get caught up with payments, to get caught up in classes, to make sure they have everything, and everything starts so chaotically. Okay? So please know we want you here. And we know that the embassy is not the easiest, are not the easiest people to work with. They are doing their best. And so if you can get an emergency appointment somewhere else, great. If you have to go to a different country, that's an option that you can look at, okay? But we don't want to require you to leave your country and go to another country for a visa, okay? So again, if you haven't paid the enrollment deposit and you don't tell us, we're going to assume you're not serious and you don't want to come. But if you email and say, I cannot get an appointment until September 15th, that helps us to say, great, before things get so crazy with the start of classes, we're going to move you to January. I know that's hard. We wish you were here. We don't have a way to speed that process up. Okay? Does anyone else see questions I have not answered? So there's a question about drama and acting. That's where your advisor comes in. Barb Delane, she knows, she works with theater and music majors. And I know she might be out this summer. Sorry, Landon.
No, you're good. Keep going.
I was going to
doing
say,
great.
These advisors, Barb has been here as long as I have, if not longer. And so she knows very well what order you need to take classes in. She'll get you in your theater production classes and your stagecraft and all of the courses that we have that go along with our Associate of Science in Theater or Associate of Arts in Theater.
Yeah, and we do have a good 2-year program for theater where we do awesome theater productions every single semester. You get the opportunity to kind of be whatever part you want to be in those, right? Do I want to be scene painting? Do I want to be an actor? Do I want to, you can try out to do any of those things. So there's lots of great opportunities for you in that area.
Yeah, so there was a question about ESL, and I know this is hard. If you did not give us an English placement exam, so a TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo, and your native language is not English, you must take our placement exam first before you can register for classes. That test is given by the director of our ESL program. Her name is Udenbor Bumandali. The good news is she has lived the life you have. She was an international student. She studied at Brigham Young University. She knows what it's like to learn another language and to move from your home country to someplace totally new. So she is wonderful. And what she will do is we give her a list of all of our students who need English as a second language. And then she will reach out to you individually and schedule a time for you to be tested. She is emailing you in your students.snow.edu email. Okay, she will not email your Gmail account. So again, it's one more reason we need you in on the my.snow.edu on the portal, on the my.snow portal, because you will see her email and she will work out a time remotely to test you. Once she has given you your placement exam, she will put you in the correct level of classes. Once that test is taken, you cannot submit another language score. We have had some students say, oh, but now I'm going to go take the Duolingo. Once that is done, that is your plan. You are going to be taking ESL and moving forward, okay? So please, please be watching for an email from Udimbor Bumandali. I'm not going to spell it. It's a unique name. She is originally from Mongolia. She is amazing. And so she will email you at your snow.edu email. Okay. Someone asked, can they use personal email to fix passwords or to Meg? Absolutely. You can email us on your personal email. We just have to, and we can reply, but we are going to send all communication through your student.snow.edu. Someone asked us, let's see, semester begins, August 26th is when classes begin. You must arrive before that date, okay? We have a mandatory orientation on Friday, August 23rd. Then there is a full campus orientation on Saturday, August 24th. You need to attend both of them, okay? If you were unable to, are not able to arrive by that time, we need to move you to another semester, okay? We will have a shuttle to the airport. Noboe has been sending out emails about that, but I'm going to share my screen really fast because if you ever have questions, we try really hard. Share screen. We try really hard to give you as much information online as we can. So if you go to snow.edu international and scroll down right here, admission next steps, this is where you have the link for paying the enrollment deposit. Prepare for your arrival. On prepare for your arrival, these are the things you need to do. Okay, look at the dates. Submit travel information. You can book your airport pickup right here. We also provide you the opportunity to purchase bedding. That's available on our website. You can look at payment plan options. So all of these things are here to help you get ready to come, right? Let's see. This is also just really good questions. We try and put as much as we can on here. Oh, and our Unibuddy, which is right here. Again, this is another opportunity for you to talk specifically with the student that is from your country or in your major, or send any information to Maurice. He's a second-year student from the Bahamas. If you want to know what life is like as a student, sign up and chat with them. And these are our students that we have here on campus that want to talk to you. Okay, so let's see.
By the way, Maurice is amazing, and you should talk to him.
We have some really great students. Yeah, we are very, very blessed with that. What other questions am I missing? Okay, Grace is asking about enrollment deposit. So there are 4 ways to pay the enrollment deposit. The first way is through the Nelnet portal. So on that website, now that I've stopped sharing my screen, let me sign. Anyway, you click on pay enrollment deposit. It takes you to a portal called the Nelnet. That's our Nelnet payment processing. If you cannot use your Visa card on there or your MasterCard or your whatever credit card, your Diners Club or Alipay, the second option is to use a service like Flywire or Pay My Tuition. So I want to show you what that's going to look like. So if I just come in here and look for Pay My Tuition, the first thing that pops up is right here. I can come right in here, click make a payment, and immediately it has you look for your school. Snow College is right there. I come in here and I say, great, I am going to pay from Bulgaria. I need to pay $500 for my enrollment deposit. And it will show you what your options are. They work depending on your country. So if I'm paying from China, I might have all of these different options. But if I am going to pay from Nigeria, I have these options. And what this does is this service, Pay My Tuition, works to get the best exchange rate. Flywire is the same way. Flywire looks exactly the same. What would happen is if I am in Nigeria and I choose this option, you can see it's going to give me the better rate. If I choose to use a Visa card, it's going to cost me more Naira. So if I choose this and I go to next, I'm not going to do this because I don't want to sign me up for it, but they will actually give you the exact information that you need to take to your bank. They will give you the paper that you print out and take to your bank and submit that information. The benefit of this is that we are able to track it on our side with Flywire and Pay My Tuition. So we can see that you're sending the funds. There's going to be a time limit. You have to send it in a certain number of days. Okay, so option 1, pay through the portal. Option 2, Pay My Tuition or Flywire. Option 3, you can call and pay over the phone with a credit card, or you can send a direct bank wire. Instead of using something like Flywire or Pay My Tuition, you go to your bank and we will give you our banking information and you send money directly from your bank to our bank. I will tell you that there is anywhere from $40 to $60 in bank fees that you will likely have to pay because you have to pay money to your bank and our bank takes money. Okay, so we encourage you to use either the portal or to use Flywire or Pay My Tuition because ultimately it should save you the most amount of money. But every service is going to have different fees that are associated with it. So we are getting down to our last 5 minutes. Is there something else that I have missed? I just want to remind you a couple of things, and if Deanna can throw this in there. Okay, Yana, we'll get to you 1 second. We are going to have more of these next week, right? We're trying to do these weekly to answer all your questions. Please share this with your parents or your sponsors because they are super, I know they want to help you and they are welcome to get in here too. We're happy to answer questions as a whole, okay? So please, if you're following us on social media, we're posting on social media about this. We will have another meeting next week and then more coming through the month of July, clear up until August. If you haven't paid your enrollment deposit, please get that taken care of so that we can have the credit for that and we can work with you. We don't want to cancel your I-20 if we don't, because we don't think you're coming, right? We need to know that you're coming. We need that confirmation. Jan asked really fast, how ESL selects courses. So our English as a second language program focuses on the 4 major areas: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. So when you're in ESL, you're going to take classes that are dealing with composition, so writing, reading, where you're going to have to be reading short stories and then analyzing it and writing essays about that. You're going to have a listening class where you're listening to conversations or passages. Maybe you're listening to a movie and then you have to report on what that, what they talked about. And then there's going to be a speaking where we want you to practice. I will tell you, it is always easier to learn a language when you practice. So I will admit that when I have traveled overseas, if I find someone who speaks English, man, I just want to talk in English. I don't want to have to stress about trying to mentally translate from Spanish into English, which I don't speak Spanish, by the way. I speak Duolingo Spanish. 700 days strong. Woo! We know it's easier for you to speak French or to speak Japanese or to speak Mandarin, but your language will improve the more you practice. So we strongly encourage you to practice your language. That's why we have speaking classes in ESL. So Jan, they will put together a schedule that will be every day, different classes. You might have writing on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and you might have conversation every day of the week. I don't know if any of you noticed when Landon was showing you the schedule, once you hit college in the US, this is not Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. You're in class. You get to decide your schedule. If you do not like mornings and you don't like to wake up, great. Landon showed you how. If you don't want to start classes till 10 o'clock in the morning, okay. ESL, you can't do that. ESL is set, but you might only be taking your class, for example, like our stagecraft class might only meet 1 day a week for 3 hours, right? You only go to class 1 day. And so you will find you have free time. It's not, you get to be in control of what you want to study, when you want to go to class. So that's a lot of power. And in the words of, superheroes, with much power comes much responsibility. So make sure that you're that you're going to class, paying attention to deadlines, all of these things. We need to wrap up. We respect your time. We try and keep things down to the hour. Tomorrow, we are going to be working from home. So they are doing construction on our building, the building Landon's in as well. They're shutting down the power. And so all of us will be working from home. And so tomorrow we will not be in office. We will be at home you can send emails. We'll still be answering that. Thursday is Independence Day in the United States. So all businesses will be closed. Snow College will be closed. We will not be answering emails. Okay. We will be back in the office on Friday and actually be working remotely again on Friday. Because, well, some of us are taking vacation and some of us are working from home. So just so you know, we are so excited. I share this every single time. We know you have a lot of choices on where to study, and we deeply appreciate that you have chosen to come to Snow College. We take that very seriously. We are so excited to welcome you to our campus. And if you don't have your visa right now, it's okay. We know that's hard. Let's look at the next semester, okay? And I have faith that you will make it here. And so we will be excited to meet you when you get here. So have a wonderful week. Reach out, watch our Instagram. We will be having another one of these next week. And let's see, what are we talking about next week? Next week, we're talking about payment plans. Oh my gosh. Well, those are exciting. We all like money, right? So yeah. So have a great afternoon. Check these out on our YouTube page if you want to go back and see any details you might have missed. And we will see you guys next week.